So Deja,
Yeah.
should I tell you a dad joke?
Okay.
What does Santa's elves listen to as they work?
What?
Rap music.
I think you should just stick with the MoneyWise FAQs.
Okay, fine.
Sean, what happens when a company or a business misses a payroll tax deadline?
It's a great question, Bobby. I kind of want to say it depends, but it really doesn't. I'll take this from a perspective of it depends on when you receive the notice or when you know that you've made the problem, right? If it's Thursday morning and you wake up and you realize, oh, I didn't make the tax deposit yesterday, make it immediately. File the return as soon as possible, make the payment as soon as possible. The faster that you can correct the mistake, the smaller the issue is. With online filing for a lot of state agencies, and if you're an individual taxpayer, some of the IRS can be done online. The faster you get it done, the smaller your exposure is.
Break down a little bit to help people understand how those deadlines come up.
We have lots of different deadlines for lots of different folks. We like to say to most folks that if you are a semi-weekly depositor for the federal government, that means essentially your taxes are due with every payroll. If you're a monthly depositor, your taxes for the previous month are due in the current month. Same basics for most of the states, although some of the other states have a little more complicated set of frequencies for deposits, but really your taxes are due with every payroll. And then the returns that you file quarterly and annually, those are due in the month following the end of each quarter or in the month following the end of the year. And those are really reconciliations of what has previously happened.
One thing I know I learned working with you that at the end of the year, a lot of people send in things well after. They don't know that they had to make a change, or they go to file their taxes or owners. And you've taught me that once the tax is due is when those interest and penalties begin. Can you elaborate on that?
So yeah, that's very different. You've asked a very different question. So did I miss a tax deadline, or did I make a mistake? Did I leave something off, right? So you may find out that at the end of the year, an employee was paid a bonus at the beginning of the year and you forgot to record it. In those cases, again, you want to fix it as soon as possible, but then in that case, the fix is an amendment. And when you make the amendment is really when that tax is due. So you'll make the amendment and the tax is due immediately. And there's a way in that case which limits some of your exposure for penalties, not necessarily for interest, right? Because it would have originally been due before. Having to make an amendment because you made a mistake is a different set of responsibilities than having missed a deadline and then having to fix that. Certainly the last thing I'll add on all of this is when any of this is discovered, take a deep breath and relax, right? We all have this thought of, the IRS or the tax agency is really terrifying, and they are a little bit. I'm not going to pretend that they're not. When we come to trying to fix this with a lot of anxiety, we're prone to make mistakes, and really the first thing we want to do is take a breath and say, hey, actually, there is a fix for this. There is always a fix for this. Most of the tax agencies, what they want more than anything is compliance and the regulations, so you want to make sure that you get them what they need as soon as possible, as correctly as possible, because the worst thing is to do a correction on a correction on a correction, or respond to a notice that says you were missing something when it turns out actually the tax agency just hadn't yet processed what you had already filed. So yeah, that'll be the last thing I said is double check. When you get a notice, make sure that the agency is right, that you didn't already do it and the agency just hasn't appropriately credited to your account.
Thanks, Sean. I think that's very helpful in knowing the difference between when something's late versus when something is a mistake.
Thanks, Bobby. If you have questions about this or any other payroll-related issues, please subscribe to our newsletter from our website or subscribe to our socials. You can find us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and on YouTube.
Feel free to also give the office a call and speak with one of us directly. We'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions.
My name's Sean.
My name is Bobby.
And this has been a MoneyWise FAQ.